happen no matter what you're doing. It's just a matter of the degree. You're going to play it note for note. You're going to play the same arrangement. You're going to play a slightly altered arrangement. You're going to play a whole different feel. But it's still a cover tune.
But that word degree, what degree are you going to go?
How far are you going to take it?
Exactly. Well, how far can you take it is the question, really.
You were saying, when I was talking about mentally rehearsing, you were saying about how you do it professionally.
Oh, the mental rehearsal thing. I found that this is what happened to me. Because I did a lot of steady gigs. And Gad said the same thing. He said when he did sessions and stuff, he said that he would play nothing. He would listen to it first, and then he just play time. You know, so that's the concept. Is that your job is to keep time. Yeah, you do fills. It's nice and it makes it better, but really, what your gig is to play time. So what you really do is to play time. So I would get a gig. And I'd have a 24-piece orchestra. There's a lot going on, and they it would be an hour and a half worth of music. 22 songs, sometimes reprised on the second half. There's a lot of music, so you rehearse it, and a lot of it's written out, so you don't have to learn it so much. You can learn it quickly, but the drum part's not written out note for note.
No.
So you got to figure out what you got to play.
And you got to follow the singer and
So you don't want to play anything the first time out. You want to play the time and follow the chart and listen to what everybody else is doing, right? And then I'll hear something. Oh, that's nice. I'll catch that the next time. Oh, that's nice. I'll catch that the next. And little by little, I find the spots that I want to pump.
Yeah.
And I find that after 6 months or a year, all of a sudden I'm playing very sparsely when I started. And the thing gets busier and busier until after 2 years, like I'm playing like everything.
yeah.
It's like constantly playing all the shit. How do you get all that shit in there? Well, I didn't do it at once. One decision at a time. This works here. I could do that there. This
And
works
watching
here.
with the bass player, what is grooving? What is the groove? I remember when I
So the part is built over time. It doesn't happen the first time I play. It
Yeah.
happens over a series of. And that's what you're doing when you're doing it mentally. You're listening to it and making decisions
Right.
each time you listen to it.
exactly.
And then by the time you get to play, you already know what you want to do.
See,
You don't have that opportunity in a professional situation.
And the other thing is locking into the bass. I remember one thing. I think Tommy Igoe, when I did do that thing with him at the camp, one thing he did that was kind of cool is, I think it was him. He had a chart and he had a tune and us all play along with it. And it was a bass part and a keyboard bass part. And most of the people in the room locked in with the keyboard bass part, which is the wrong thing to lock in with. It was really the bass part that you lock into for that feel of that tune. So really feeling what is the underlying pulse, and sometimes how we get sidetracked by following the wrong pulse. Like everybody heard the keyboard part a little stronger, so they would start composing bass drum parts around the keyboard. But really the actual underlying pulse to make it groove was found in the bass part that was underneath that.
You're making a couple statements, and I totally agree with Alan's concept as when he was doing a show with 24 different people, and he's reading the charts, and he's laying back, and he's keeping time, and as it goes around, he feels he's going to push a certain part. And that's a process. That's something that he has to keep time with because he has a job to do to keep everybody else in place.
Right, I gotta keep the band together.
As opposed to 4, maybe 5 people playing music, all right, in a different environment. It's not a philosophy. My attitude, okay, is I don't want to play time for no one, except if the gig is demanding this is what you need to do in order to keep everyone together.
Right.
But if I'm going to play a jazz tune with 4 or 5 guys, why should I have to play time for the piano player or the bass player? They should be in the same time. Okay, that's where what they call the groove begins. Okay, that everybody's in the same time. If they got to hear boom chink, boom chink, boom chink, my attitude is go buy a drum machine. It's simple.
Right.
I'm playing melodically and rhythmically the way everyone else is playing it, and I do follow the rules, and I follow whatever rules need to be followed within inside of that tune. I try not to get in anybody's way. I say what I want to say to whoever I want to say it to, as long as it doesn't interfere with the conversation. It's simple.
But in
Yeah.
jazz, I think that's a different approach, and that would be more the approach in a standard pop, like in a pop type environment where it's
Well,
just
maybe
based on
see
a
your-
solid groove or a
Right,
funk.
yeah, well, you see now you're talking a cover tune close to note. That's where what you're talking about. I'm talking about expressing yourself
Right.
musically
Yeah.
as to what is occurring musically. Because like Alan mentioned, when he says cover tunes, jazz musicians play cover tunes.
Right.
They play a tune
Standards.
over and over again every night, but it's played differently every
Every
night. But the
It's the
formation,
musician's art,
the formation is there. That's the rule.
Right.
as opposed to classical music, which
Well-
is the composer's art.
Well, that's reading charts and you're
But doing shows, I did a
Well,
lot of shows.
all right. Wait a minute. Let me finish. Doing classical music, you were presented with a chart. Your job is to play what the author wants you to play because you're making a statement through your instrument from the whatever the composer
Yeah,
wanted
it's
you
the
to do.
composer's
But
art.
what I'm talking about and what Alan's talking about is different. We talked about doing a show and you're paid to keep everybody together. And yeah, as you do the show and you're more familiar with the show, you get familiar with the tune. Like he said, you could pump a particular part of the tune, and that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with shows, there's another complication.
What's that?
Repeats,
you have a
a
conductor.
million, and you have a million repeats. A
No,
zillion
I'll be honest.
repeats.
It's not always in time. It's not
Oh,
supposed
oh,
to be.
oh, of course not,
It's not-
because the
not
singer,
supposed to be
if
in
the
time. So you
singer
have-
is,
you have to move from one tempo to another.
yeah,
And everybody's got to come with you, and that's what I mean by holding the thing together. Is everybody's looking to you? Because the conductor is the one who's supposed to control that, but he has no sound, so everybody's listening to you to find. So what happens is that conductor conducts the drummer, and the drummer conducts the rest of the band. Is what's going on.
That's a good
because
one. I like
it
that.
all depends
Yeah,
on where
I
the
like that.
dance number, where the dance number is, where the singer is, am I right?
Yeah.
You're following
And you have
the
to
actors
understand, they're up
and
on the
seeing the
stage.
monitors,
Yeah,
well,
they're up on the stage,
yeah.
and they may be upstage,